I'm going to show you 5 ways that you can use to remove sweat from your horribly smelling gym clothes or any other clothes really. This is going to be a particularly big problem for synthetic exercise clothes, as they generally can't be heated up very high because of the synthetic garments. I'm going to show you 5 different things you can use here. This is generally going to be things from around the house that you can just pick up here and there. And we're also going to need either a basin or a little bucket or something that you can place the garments into here. I have my standard basin here from the videos. So I figured we'll start with the thing that everybody most certainly has around the house, and that is going to be your average table salt. Yeah, table salt. Table salt has very many antibacterial properties, which makes it perfect for killing off the bacteria that is causing the sweat on your garments. So how much of this do you need? Well, generally what I like to do is take the sweaty garments here and place them into a basin, and with salt I'm going to use let's say lukewarm water here. And I'm just going to fill it up to the point where the garments are submerged under the water. Since this is only one short, this isn't going to take so much. But if you have more garments than this, I think for, let's say, half a cup of salt, you should be able to at least use it on a large bowl. I'm going to just measure it up, and then we're going to pour it directly into the solution here. So once you made sure that all the salt is nice and incorporated into the water, just leave it in the basin here for a little while. It doesn't need to be too long. We just want to make sure that all the water is absorbed into the garments. After that, you can just take this garment and you can wash it regularly in the washing machine. That's not a big problem at all. Just add your regular detergent and you should be good to go. For method number 2, we are going to use baking soda to remove the smell from this t-shirt here. So I'm just going to toss that into the basin here. Now we don't need to pre-fill this basin with water now, because this time we're actually going to make a paste and we're going to apply it directly to the areas that may have smell, you know, where it sweats generally. So why baking soda? Well, as you know, baking soda is a base. While generally you'll find that the molecules that causes the sweat smell will be acidic. So by adding this base paste to the garments, we are going to neutralize the molecules that causes sweat, thereby removing the smell. So to make this paste here, I am just going to go ahead and I'm going to pour a tiny bit of lukewarm water into this little cup. And then from here, I'm just going to add enough baking soda here so that we can make a workable paste. Now that we have our little paste here, just going to apply it directly to the underarms here, since that is, this is a t-shirt. If you have pants or something like that, it would be probably the crack between the legs that is the worst, maybe the back side. So let me just apply it here to the other side as well quickly. Let's say leave it on for at least 15 minutes. For the video, I'm just going to do 15 minutes. If you have time, you could probably leave it overnight without any issues. After the paste is done doing its thing, you can just rinse it off. And from here, I'm just going to toss it into the washing machine. And we're able to run a regular cycle on that as well. And for all these methods, turning the garments inside out is going to be helpful, as you are able to expose the area where the sweat actually primarily is focused. So if you want to do that, that may be slightly more effective as well. Moving on to method number 3 here, and this is one that is close to my heart because we are going to use my favorite product for cleaning, which is going to be distilled white vinegar. Yes! Why distilled white vinegar? First of all, it is a very effective cleaning product. There is a lot of corrosive agents in white vinegar that is going to be so effective at removing these smells. So how do we go about using white vinegar? Well, first of all, you need to see how strong it is. This one is way too strong. It's 35%. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to water this out to about 7%. I would say is going to be the sweet spot for white vinegar. After that, what we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill a cup with this up. And once you have an appropriate strength white vinegar, what we're going to do is that we're going to again go back to the basin here. Now for white vinegar, you don't really need to use hot water. Just load it up with the cold water. Again, how much water you want to use kind of depends on how many clothes you actually want to do this to. I will say though, that a cup of white vinegar at 7% is probably going to be plenty for a small basin. If I probably up to half full of this one. So experiment with this if you're a little unsure. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and add this to the water here. I'm going to mix it a little bit up. And once you have this nicely submerged into the water here, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it in here for, let's say, at least 15 minutes. That should be good enough. By the way, for this solution in particular, what you can also do here is, let's just get you on the phone here. You can actually add the distilled white vinegar directly into either the pre-wash or fabric softener compartment in your washing machine. Now you don't want to add it to the wash number 2. We need to add regular detergent there, and white vinegar and detergent don't really mix. So you need to separate them in either of these so that it doesn't release into the washing machine at the same time. Now you can also do this with baking soda, but again, never mix these different agents. It's going to neutralize them. They're not going to be as effective as you want them to be. Once these 15 minutes are up, go ahead and rinse off the vinegar so that it doesn't mix with the detergent in the washing machine. So let me just toss this here into the washing machine as well, and we can run a regular cycle on that. Now, one thing that works similarly to the distilled white vinegar is actually lemons. Yes, lemons, the ones you eat with your food. However, if you want to replace the vinegar with lemons, I will say only use it on white garments, as lemon has a little bit of a bleaching effect, especially over time. So I would go with white vinegar. Also, if you're going to do lemons, instead of just a cup of the distilled white vinegar, you're going to need a couple of lemons, probably 3 for a gallon of water. So just keep that in mind. But that is an excellent alternative as well. So since they're also similar, I'm not gonna do an example with it, but just, yeah, same procedure, just probably leave it there for at least half an hour or so that it has time to properly do its job. So the 5th method, and this is a really nice one. This one does require a little bit more of a specialized product though. So the 5th thing that we can use is enzyme-based detergent. How you want to use this is either you can spot treat them. I'm going to show you how to do that. Otherwise, you can load this enzyme-based detergent into your washer. You need to be a little bit careful with this, especially if you have sensitive skin. Definitely avoid it for babies. It is very powerful. It's going to kill off that smell without any problems. Also, it's really effective for removing stains if you have stains as well. So how do we use this? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to dose it up, and I'm just going to pour it back into the container when I had enough of how much I want to use. And again, in the basin here, I'm just going to wetten this up a little bit so that it's easier to apply the enzyme-based detergent. Like I said, this can be a little bit harsh on your skin, so you may want to use gloves if you're smart. Do as I say, not as I do, isn't that the saying? And rub it into the area that is smelly. And from here, you don't really need to let this sit, or if you want to, just leave it on for 5 minutes. And then we're going to also toss this into the washing machine along with other clothes. Like I said, you can just totally replace your regular detergent with this stuff. Now, I recommend that you go with a detergent that is odorless. If you're going to use detergent that already has a smell, and your main goal of washing these garments is to remove a bad smell, what can happen is that you just end up masking the smell for a while, and then when you start wearing the garment again, it's going to stink. So that goes the same for fabric softener and dryer sheets. Frankly, when you wash synthetics, you shouldn't use dryer sheets or fabric softener, as they really don't interact well with your synthetic garments, and it doesn't have any effect other than the smell anyway. On the same topic, never use too much detergent, I would say. If you use too little detergent, that can be a problem as well, because you won't have enough power to properly clean the garments. If you use too much, you're going to end up with kind of a caked up layer that can actually lock in the smell a little into your garments. I like to recommend using this one. This is laundry detergent sheets. It's what I generally use these days. Just take half of this and just toss it in where you generally would put your laundry detergent. I'm going to add links to all these products if you need to buy any of them. If you use the links, I would really appreciate it, as they will be like affiliate links. I get a little kickback at no additional cost to you, of course. Beyond this, I want to share a couple of tips that you can kind of prevent smell from building up, or at least prevent it from spreading out to other garments as well. Since this is generally going to be a big problem with synthetics, and often synthetics are used when you exercise, what I would say is to bring an extra bag or plastic bag or something that you can toss the garments into very short term once you're done exercising, so that the smell doesn't spread over to, you know, your towels and your other exercise clothes if they haven't started to smell. But if you mush them together, you kind of get the bacteria spreading all over there. If you put them in a plastic bag, however, be sure to take them out right away when you get home, so there doesn't start to be any mold buildup, as yeah, it's kind of a ripe environment for further buildup of bacteria, as you can imagine. On that topic, also, I would recommend that you wash these garments as soon as possible. So if you're at the gym, perhaps you go home and pre-treat them and then wash them right away. That's going to help a lot too. If you're unable to wash them right away, what you can do is actually toss them into the freezer, and that's going to kind of pause the development of the bacteria, as they won't be developing while they're frozen. Once you take it out of the freezer again though, they are going to start developing again, so wash them right away if you go that route. I'm going to make a new video here next week where I show you how to remove general sour smell from your garments. If you haven't seen that video I made a couple of years ago on how to remove smell from shoes, you should definitely check that out, especially for your gym shoes. I'm sure they can smell often as well. Check that out there. Also remember I added links to all the products that you may need down in the video description. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.